Alright, in today's video we're going to be doing absolute value inequalities. So we're going to have an absolute value in it, but it's no longer going to be equal to something, it's going to have an inequality, which in this case today it's going to be the greater than symbol. We're going to focus just on greater than today, and I'll talk you through the differences as we go. But greater than's today. Now what do you do different? Well, the steps are very similar. It's the same as solving an absolute value equation, with one difference. On the left side, when we made it negative, we're also now going to turn the inequality, okay? Before we didn't do that because you don't turn an equal sign. We turn the inequality and we make it negative, okay? So this is the new step, the one in the green. So make this note on your paper so that you can find your steps, okay? Turn the inequality and then make it negative. So let's try one of these out. We're going to solve it and we'll graph it on a line. I'll show you what I mean. So the absolute value is isolated, right? No big deal. So now when we split it up on the left, I'm going to do 2x plus 4. I'm going to turn that inequality. I'm going to flip it. Now it's less than negative 6. On the right, it's going to be the 2x plus 4 is greater than 6. And now we're back to where we were before. So I'm going to subtract 4. So I have 2x is less than negative 10. Divide by 2. X is less than negative 5. On the right, if I subtract 4, I have 2x equals 2. Divide by 2, x equals 1. Now, these are OR questions, grade OR, okay? So when I graph this on a number line, it's going to look like this, okay? This is really as difficult as it needs to be. If you've done your negatives on the left, like I've shown you, then the lower value is going to be the one on the left. So it's going to go on the left here. And on the right, oops, I didn't do this correctly, did I? It should be a greater than. My bad. These are greater than signs. Okay, greater than. On the right, it's 1, but it's not an or equal, so I'm going to put circles here. Now, let's think about this. X is less than negative 5, so I'm going to shade where x's are less than negative 5. You can do this, you can do whatever you want. On the right, x is greater than 1. So there we go. So there's my answer. So I'm looking for this statement and a number line in your work. All right, let's try another. All right, number 2 has a couple extra steps. So let's start this by first moving this 4 over by subtracting it from both sides. So I will have 2 times the absolute value of w minus 2 is greater than 6. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And have the absolute value of w minus 2 is greater than or equal to 3. Now we're ready to split this up like we've done before. W minus 2, I need to switch my inequality to less than or equal to and make it negative 3. On the right side, I just take it out of the absolute value bars and leave it alone. All right, let's do this left side. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides. So I have w is less than or equal to negative 1. On the right side, I'm going to add 2 to both sides, and I get w is greater than or equal to 5, and I put an or in between. So now my number line, my negative 1 is on the left, the 5 is on the right. That should make some sense. Notice there or equal to's. There's a less than or equal to, and there's a greater than or equal to. So it's closed circles, and if it's less than, I'm going to shade to the left. And if it's greater than, I'm going to shade to the right because that's where the values are getting greater. All right, there's my solution for number 2. One last question. Let's try this one. All right, I need to isolate that absolute value. So the first thing I want to do is get rid of that fraction, right? Well, I want to multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction, okay? 2 over 1, but what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So over here, these 1's will cancel, these 2's will cancel, and I'm left with my absolute value. On the right, I have an 8. Now I'm ready to split this up. So I'm going to have 2x minus 1. I'm changing to less than and making it negative 8. On the right, I'm going to do 2x minus 1 greater than positive 8. So I'm going to add 1 on the left. So I have 2x is less than negative 7. divide by 2, x is equal to negative 7 halves. Okay, or, that's a less than, sorry, less than, or, over here, I'm going to add 1, so I have 2x is greater than 9, divide by 2, x is greater than 9 halves. So, x is less than negative 7 halves, or x is greater than negative, or positive 9 halves. So on my number line, you don't have to make these mixed numbers. Again, this negative 7 halves is the lower number, so it's going to go on the left. That is negative 3.5. I hope you know that. But it's going to be an open circle because it's not equal or equals to. On the right, the 9 halves, yes, that's 4.5. Leave it as a fraction, that's perfectly fine. Open circle again, and now I shade. So notice I'm going to shade to the left on this one, and I'm going to shade to the right on the right side. Now, tomorrow we're going to work on less than. So here's some tips for today. How to remember this for tips for greater than, okay? Think of it as great or. All right, I know that's not how you spell greater, but think of it as great or than questions, all right? So they're always or problems, and I want you to notice the pattern. The shading on the number line should point away from the center. All right, that's what happens when you do great or than problems. The shading points away from the center. So tomorrow we're going to do less than, and you will see the reverse happening. So hopefully this makes some sense, and let me know if you have questions.